Welcome back. You're watching 5 News Tonight. Sending explicit photos over mobiles, otherwise known as sexting, is often dismissed by teenagers as just harmless flirting. But a shocking new report has found it's becoming the norm among young people, with more than a third admitting to sending nude pictures of themselves. And as Warren Nettleford reports now, they're often not aware of the dangers.
These teenagers are letting their fingers and thumbs do the talking. Here, they're just messaging their friends. But some parents and experts are worried about how some other teenagers are using technology to communicate. More and more young people are sending messages like this. It's called sexting, sending explicit messages of themselves by smartphone. I went to the St Paul's Academy in southeast London to ask teenagers what they thought about it. Do any of you know any victims of sexting at school?
They were bullied, and in the end that picture got sent around to everyone, and even people from different schools found out about it.
It could be on one person's phone for 1 minute and like the next hour it's around the whole school.
I don't think as many people are aware of the consequences and how it can affect us.
Well, this national survey out today from an anti-bullying charity could help. It found that 62% of those asked had received abusive messages. 37% of young people have sent a naked photo of themselves, and 24% have had photos shared without their consent. Girls are twice as likely to send photos of themselves than boys. One victim, who was 17 at the time, has told 5 News about her story. She asked to remain anonymous.
I thought if I do it, then maybe he'll actually show some more interest in me.
She didn't think twice about sending the photos to begin with, but soon the messages became abusive and she was blackmailed.
But then he started to harass me like several times a day, asking for pictures. It was like every single day I'd get like 3 or 4 messages demanding that I would send him pictures, and I was just I just didn't want to do it.
Many teenagers don't realise they also risk gaining a criminal record by sexting, and scientists say there are real concerns about the emotional implications for victims. They're calling for young people to be given more information about the dangers and the risks. Warren Nettleford, 5 News.
Joining me now to talk about this is the behavioural psychologist Jo Hemmings. Lovely to see you, Jo.
Thank you.
Why does this seem normal to some teenagers, do you think?
Well, I think, technology has developed to a place where it's now easy to do. It's sold as if it's private. They're swapping pictures of each other. It's not private. In no way is it private. It's there almost forever, whether it's shared amongst groups of people, put on social media, put on other apps. But it seems to be, because technology has gone this far with it, that it's almost, in inverted commas, acceptable. We've normalised something which is actually quite abusive and bullying behaviour.
And is there something in teenage progression maturity where they're not quite mature enough at 14, 15 to understand fully cause and effect?
Well, they're adolescents. They're going to be rebellious and they've got mobile phones. I think for parents, a lot of it is about, it's 2 parts. It's about having the confidence, the self-esteem to say no, that it is actually bullying and abusive behaviour, which they can say no to. And on a practical level, making them aware of just how permanent and how dangerous spreading these sort of pictures are. And I don't think all teenagers are aware of it or naively believe that that won't happen to them.
But there'll be parents watching now, tearing their hair out, thinking, well, I hope my child isn't doing this and I'm going to take their phone away. Is that the right thing
Well,
to do?
no, unfortunately, hope is probably not the best reaction. And taking the phone away isn't either, because they'll always find a way of doing something. You don't want to sort of take it underground. You want to talk about it, address it, and share that with your child, rather than simply confiscating their mobile phone.
We talked earlier in the week about so-called revenge porn, pictures and video on the internet, now meaning you could face 2 years in jail under a new law. Do you think the government and authority is starting to wise up to this kind of thing?
We're moving that way, aren't we? We've got sort of trolling on social media, which police now get involved in. I think one of the worrying things about this report is that a lot of teenagers didn't think they'd be taken seriously if they reported it going on. Well, I think actually to have some punitive measure in place will, allow them to feel they are being taken more seriously when it happens to them.
Jo, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.